everyone, it's Samantha, and today I'm going to do a no-sew tutu tutorial. I saw a lot of these tulle tutus on places like Pinterest and on Etsy, and I wanted to make some for some upcoming outfits for Olivia. And so today I'm just making a nice pretty pink one. It's just the rolls of tulle. So I've got these big huge 100-yard rolls. I also have one 25-yard roll. I got these in bunches of colors for some upcoming projects, like I said. So today I'm using 3 different colors. I'm using a light pink, a fuchsia, which is just a really bright hot pink, and then white. I went ahead and got the 6-inch wide tulle. And then you're going to need some sort of thick ribbon. So this is actually 1-inch thick grosgrain ribbon from Stampin' Up. It's just an old retired one that I have. I've got tons of ribbon, and I'm just going to use this as my waistband and for tying a big bow. So what I did first was I measured my daughter's waist. So this is the length of my daughter's waist. I just wrapped a piece of ribbon around her and then marked it with my hand and cut that once I was away from her. So this is the actual length of her waist, and so I didn't even have to really measure. I just kind of eyeballed it with this extra piece of ribbon. And so the only thing that I might end up sewing on this tutu is to fold over the ribbon and sew across it. You can also burn the ends with a lighter really quick. I think I'll try that first so I don't have to pull out any sewing things. So first off, this is going to be for her waist and also for tying a big huge bow. So I want to have some length on each side, maybe like 10 inches on each side will give me plenty of room to tie a little bow on there, and it also gives me room for her waist to grow a little bit so she can still use this tutu. So maybe I will do like 12 inches here on each side. Then I've got to have the length of her waist. I'm going to tie a little knot here so then I know where the tulle will start. So I'm going to take the part that's her waist size and go from that knot over, and then I'll tie another knot right after that. Let's see. I won't tighten this one until I make sure that my measurement's right with that other piece of yarn or ribbon. So I'm not going to tighten this one until I go back and make sure that this is long enough. See, that's why I did it like this. I didn't want to tighten it before because I didn't want it to be the wrong length. Let's see, I'll get it there and tighten it. So that should be right at about her waist. So I've got about 10 inches on this side. I'll measure about 10 inches on this side and cut it. And I use really nice scissors for this. These are just Fiskars titanium scissors, and they work really nicely. Ordinarily, I would cut my ribbon at a diagonal so that it won't fray, but I'm going to burn these ends, so it's okay that it's straight. And I also want to cut this one straight as well. All right, and so for this, I've just got this lighter here, and I'm just going to barely, let's see if I can do this, barely melt that end just a tiny bit. Hopefully it'll keep it from fraying. I got to do a little bit more. It really burns the end there. Okay. So that end's nice and melted. I'm going to do the same thing with this end. Okay, so hopefully I don't set off the fire alarm. There you go. Then I don't have to sew those. They're nice and closed off from that. Very nice. I've never done that before, but I've seen that on lots of bow tutorials. So I'm excited about that. So here is going to be the part that's going to have the tulle on it. And then here is where I will tie this into a bow or just knot it, however, to get it on my little girl. So for the tulle part, whatever tulle you get, it's best, for whatever tulle you get, you want it all to be the same width. So this is all 6-inch wide tulle. And then what I'm going to do is cut it double the length that I want it actually to be on the skirt. So if you want a really long skirt, you'll just do longer measurements than I'm using. I'm going to cut this at 18-inch lengths, and then my skirt will be 9 inches long. I'm just going to go ahead and start with one of these. And you're going to use a ton of tulle because you want it to be nice and poofy, and you know, if you're just using a little bit, it's very see-through. The more tulle you get bunched up, the more poofy and filled up your skirt will be. So you want to use a bunch. So what I'm just going to do is I'm going to kind of eyeball these. They don't have to be perfect, but this end is really frayed. I'm going to fold this over and just cut this a little bit straighter. One thing that's great about tulle is you don't have to sew it, which is awesome. So since my board here is actually 18 inches when you include the little 1/2 inch marks on the edge, I'm going to just go ahead and cut a bunch of these lengths. I'm going to do 10 to start and see where we're at when I get 10 of each color. Okay, I've got 10 of each cut, and it really depends on how poofy you want your skirt and the length of their waist. So it really just depends how much you're going to use. That's why I'm kind of eyeballing this. I don't really know at this point. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my pieces, find the center of it, and then have it in my hand like that and pull the rest of it through the center. And then pull it tight on my skirt. So there's one piece, and so I'm going to do that with all of this, and I'm going to just repeat colors. I'm going to start at one end. So I've got my dark pink. Now I'll take my light pink, find the center, and loop my pieces through. So you want these to be tight and close together. So there's 2, and I'm just going to keep going with this. Here's a white piece. You just go in whatever pattern it is that you're wanting for your colors. So I'm just going to alternate my 3 colors, dark, light, and then white. And then keep going down my skirt and see how I'm pushing them close together. I want them to be tight and close together so that my skirt ends up getting nice and poofy. So I'm just going to keep going here. So here is what the tutu looks like. It is nice and poofy. There's a dog hair on part of it. It's nice and poofy, and I ended up using 30 of each color, or 90 pieces of 18-inch tulle all together. And I'll show you, it looks like I used, I don't know, maybe half of this roll, maybe a little more than half of this. I think this one's the 25-yard roll, so I still have some yardage left, and it looks like I hardly used any of the 100-yard rolls, so it definitely doesn't take a whole lot. You could calculate how much I used. It was 30 of each color, or 90 strips altogether, and they're each 18 inches long, so you could do the math if you wanted to do the math, but it's nice and poofy. I was really happy with the poofiness of this. You could make it even poofier if you pushed these even closer together and put more strips on here, but I felt like this was good. I was able to tie a bow with the front pieces there. I would probably still make them a couple of inches longer, just so that the skirt can grow with her, because when she starts getting a bigger waist, I won't be able to tie a bow. I'll have to just kind of knot it. To tie a big bow, it takes a lot of ribbon, so I definitely would make these a little bit longer in the future. I do have a bunch of these I'm going to be making for upcoming events, but here is the first one, and I think it's so cute, so I'm going to insert some photos at the end of her wearing this tutu. But that is it for today, so be sure to give this video a thumbs up if you like DIY tutorials like this, and be sure to subscribe. Have a great day, and thanks for watching. Bye.